Got Your Back Podstream is brought to you by Mr. Dirk. From casual wear to suits and formals, Mr. Dirk helps you find the perfect fit with the right look for any occasion. Step up your wardrobe at MrDirk.com. Gotta love the Sunday night pods. Off day, waiting for round number 2 to start. Time to preview the Oilers and the Vegas Golden Knights. Gonna be a great show tonight. Looking forward to it. We got Brownie, we got Struds, we got Zuby, and even Ryan Marsh back by popular demand to give us a little technical breakdown of the Oilers and the Vegas Golden Knights. I know we're asking you to multitask right now. The Jets in double overtime against St. Louis, but we had to get this thing rolling. Fans were waiting. People were waiting. We couldn't keep them waiting forever. So we'll keep you updated on the score. Welcome to Got Your Back, folks. Brought to you by Play Alberta, where it is always game time. Bet on sports. Find your new favorite slot. Hit the tables. Play on a virtual table with a live dealer. Grab lottery tickets. Do it all safely with responsible gambling tools that help keep you safe. If you deposit today, you get a $50 free bet with the code GYB05 at playalberta.ca. Coming at you from our Adrenaline Diesel studio. If you need a part manufactured, replicated, or repaired, Adrenaline Diesel has you covered with their brand new machine shop. Visit adrenalinediesel.ca. Much like the Oilers were a little banged up heading into round number 1, the Got Your Back crew, little banged up. Little bit feeling it heading into round number 2. Brownie, give us a check 1 2 1 2. Is there any voice there?
1 2 1 2. There's a bit of a voice. It's a little laryngitis the last couple of days. These late night games are killing me.
Oh man. Well, maybe what we can do is we'll see if we can cut your night a little bit short. Maybe we'll cut you a break on a segment or something like that. So Brownie's like a 6 out of 10. Struds, where are you at? How are you?
I'm great. I don't know what's better than a 10. I mean, I'm feeling good right now. I had a few days off here, got a full night's sleep, a couple in a row. Like I'm ready for this series. I don't care if they want to start them at 9:20. I'll be ready to dig in and make this party happen.
7:30 local game starts. That could be worse. Zuby, how are you doing, buddy? How you feeling?
I'm all right. I didn't get it. I had some other work stuff to take care of that included a little bit of travel this weekend, little road travel out to Golden and out to Shelter Bay near Revelstoke, and so I probably didn't have my best sleeps, but I'm here. I'm not better than 100%, but I'll put myself in the low 90s.
Yeah, well, and I'm not sure how Marshy's doing, but the one thing I know, he's in shape and he exercised today. So looking forward to catching up with Ryan Marsh here in a little bit. I had an unbelievable nap today. Like Struds, and I know Struds because of our late nights on Got Your Back. You have perfected the art of napping. You've actually started to get quality naps. But get this, house to myself, right? Randine was gone for the day, a day trip down to Calgary. House to myself, got back from Oilers skates, already had a workout in the bag from earlier in the day. Laid down at 2:45. I walked out of that room feeling like $1 million. Just fantastic. So I'm all over it tonight, Struddy.
So your workout was a third the length of your nap?
Ain't nothing gonna break my stride, buddy. Nobody gonna slow me down tonight. No, you're not gonna do it. I'm not gonna get into the details of my work. It was a good workout. It was a good nap. I'm feeling it tonight. I am not having it tonight. We got a great show. We'll tee things up for you here. Obviously, we'll keep you updated on this Winnipeg game. We're going to tee up the Oilers and the Vegas Golden Knights. We're going to get predictions. Really interested to see which way the big guy is going to go here in round number 2. Oh, this game is over. Winnipeg just won. Winnipeg Jets are moving on.
Wow.
What an absolutely incredible comeback in this game.
Yeah, Lowry on a tip, it looks like.
Lowry on a tip.
It looked like Lowry on a tip. He was the one in front of the net, and he was the one celebrating. He is a good hockey player.
What an amazing comeback. Okay, we're going to talk about this game too. Let's just get to our breakdown because we're going to talk about this, talk about the Oilers, but let's get the pod rolling here. It's brought to you by Alberta Ram Dealers. Ram Truck continues to deliver with power, style, and innovation. 2025 Ram 1500 features a bold new powertrain and a redesigned exterior, state-of-the-art technology. Check out the most awarded light-duty truck ever. See your Ram dealer today because it's probably what everyone's going to be talking about on Monday. Let's go to this game right away here, guys. Like Brownie, that comeback will be talked about for generations. That was incredible what happened.
It was. I mean, it shows a few things. We saw it here in Edmonton in the first series. No lead is safe in the National Hockey League anymore. It just isn't. Teams pulled their goalies earlier. So now if you're down 2, you pull your goalie at 3.5 minutes. And what is so amazing about this comeback is the Winnipeg Jets did it without their best defenseman and their best player. Both Scheifele was out for the last couple of games. He wasn't playing. Morrissey left 2 minutes. He had 2 minutes of ice time tonight. He's gone. So their 2 best players not in the lineup, and they just didn't quit. And just like the Oilers did when Bouchard scored with 29 seconds to go, the Winnipeg Jets, the puck was in the corner. And the Blues are doing a good job keeping everything outside. The puck was in the corner with 5 seconds to go in the game. And the Jets were able to get it back to the point across in a shot on net to tie it up. I'm happy for the Jets. I like the Blues. There's a lot of great things about the Blues. But this would have been so incredibly demoralizing for the Jets if they weren't able to get through this series. For an Oiler fan, you would have preferred the St. Louis Blues winning, because the St. Louis Blues will play Dallas next if they would have won. St. Louis Blues knocked out 2 of Winnipeg's best players. It would have been a physical series against the Dallas Stars. Now Dallas is playing against a beat-up Winnipeg Jet game, but unbelievable game and good for the Winnipeg Jets.
Where have I heard this before? Oh, I remember last night, Dallas Stars coming back from Colorado. Like, that was crazy. So both these games, to me, were crazy, guys. Down 2-0 for Colorado. Colorado's up, and Dallas comes back, scores 4 in the third period, recognizing one's an empty netter. Then Winnipeg scores with 1.6 seconds left. Like, that is nuts that they get it done. They don't stop. And Brownie said it the best. Like, they did not stop trying. They get it down this overtime. Both of them, there was some chances, not great chances either way. And bang, all of a sudden they score. So talk about all-time talking points for the last 2 Game 7s were incredible. Saturday and Sunday night in the NHL.
A lot of action on the YouTube stream here, basically saying, screw you to the Blues. Oiler fan is feeling like this is some sort of comeuppance for St. Louis. I would disagree. I think their finish to the season was phenomenal. I think they've got great young players. I think they're pointed in the right direction. There's a lot of great things. And the fact that they just about toppled Winnipeg is pretty unbelievable. I have to say, I mean, I don't cheer. I cheer for direct flights. And if the Oilers have to play one of these 2 teams, I want it to be Winnipeg and not St. Louis, because St. Louis is a son of a gun to get to. But with that said, when Braden Shen took that penalty in overtime, I actually was like, oh no, I don't want that for him. Honestly, he's one of the guys in the league I respect the most. I love the way he plays, and I was just sick to my stomach. I'm like, what a way for that to end. Puck over glass, potentially. So that was a huge kill and a big moment, and that would have been no good for Shen. But you love Lowry, Struddy. He's your guy.
I do. I absolutely love Adam Lowry, and you're right. I knew his dad a little bit. I never played his dad, but I followed kind of his son just because I know him a little. And I love the way he plays the game. Never cheats. I mean, he's a 3rd-line center playing 1st-line center tonight. Like, he does so many things well. And I was watching with my boys, like, watch how he touches so many parts of the game, right? He's all 200 feet. He's physical, winning draws, scores a goal, will fight, like, good leader. I don't have him as a superstar, Brownie, but I have him as a guy I would draft very quickly on my team anytime.
Oh, well, I mean, he was moved up in the lineup for this series because of the injuries, but he is the absolute perfect 3rd-line center. And I remember a couple of years ago when the Oilers played the Jets in the playoffs, and I just felt every time Lowry stepped on the ice that the Oilers weren't going to be able to score. He is that dominating. He wins every faceoff, wins every battle. He doesn't cheat the play. And you always like when a player like that gets rewarded. Now, I think he scored the game-winning goal. I couldn't see it because is looking the wrong way. But unbelievable hockey player. You're 100% Struds. That's a guy that you follow.
Mm-hmm. So what do we think about the series, Jets and Dallas Stars, Struds?
Man, well, I think that it sounds like Robertson's skating. That's what I thought I read. Heiskanen has been skating, so for them to do what they did like that is absolutely incredible. Mikko Rantanen rolling. I think this will be a tall tar loader for the Winnipeg Jets. Unknown about Scheifele, unknown about Josh Morrissey. I pick Avs to beat the Stars, but if they get healthy and the way they're playing, they're going to be tough to beat. So I'd probably look at the Stars in this one. Not probably. I am looking at the Stars, Brownie.
Well, I agree. I actually picked the Avs too, and for the Stars to knock off the Avs without Heiskanen, without Robertson, and those two players will be back in the next series. To me, it's the Stars, and it's in 5, if not 5-6. I just think they're too strong. They are one of the best teams in the National Hockey League that's going to get better. And the Winnipeg Jets are going the opposite direction with 2 of their best players out of the lineup. So I think this is a great night for the Winnipeg Jets. I don't know if they can get by the Dallas Stars.
I'm going to go the other way with it and say that it'll be Winnipeg. I think that this will matter for Connor Hellebuck. So 2 goals tonight were a little dicey, and everybody knows the storylines coming in about Connor Hellebuck and his playoff performance. And I don't know what you guys thought after the second goal, the week 1 went in, if you were like, got to make the change. I know some of the guys on the panel and the broadcast talked about that they should have made a change after 2. I was okay with them sticking with him. But I think he made some good saves in overtime. I think he made a couple of hard saves. I think he steadied. I think he got his game in order. And I think now the Winnipeg Jets are moving on with Connor Hellebuck, maybe having slayed a little bit of a dragon, maybe a little bit there, Brownie, for him, having played solid in a Game 7 overtime.
I don't know if he played solid. He let in 2 iffy goals. I'm not consider that solid.
Yeah.
But it's good enough, Brownie. It's good enough.
Well, even good enough. Yeah, but see, a good enough goalie for the Oilers moves them on. You got to be more than good enough to play for the Winnipeg Jets. He is their MVP. He might win the MVP of the league. I just don't think they're strong enough against the Dallas Stars. I think Dallas is just a better hockey club. So to me, I'm picking Dallas. I hope that Connor Hellebuck has a great series. I hope that we're talking about him slaying his dragon. I hate the negative press. I hate the negative social media. I've got a ton of respect for him as a goaltender. I hope he has a great series against Dallas. I just don't know if that'll be enough. Dallas is a very good team. I thought Colorado was the team to beat in the Western Conference, and Dallas did it without their 2 best players. So I have a hard time betting against Dallas now, against a beat-up Winnipeg team.
All right. Oh, sorry. Just quickly about Connor Hellebuck. I understand what you're saying about the media, Brownie, but I honestly, we can only go on what he's done. Like even tonight, like he wasn't good. He was okay, and you need more of that. You expect more from a Vezina winner. He can't just be okay.
I know. That's why I want him to be better, so that we don't have to talk about it anymore. That's why.
Yeah. So I'm not looking at him saying, like it's good enough. That's not good enough. Like he has to be the best player on the ice, and not enough of these games is he even close to being the best player on the ice, including tonight.
Okay, that's going to be a dandy. Okay, gentlemen, let's shift over to the Edmonton Oilers. Their series set to get underway on Tuesday night. I'll be heading to Vegas tomorrow. So looking forward to getting out on the road for this series. I was down at practice today. I can tell you, gentlemen, no changes in the lineup. So Draisaitl, McDavid, and Corey Perry. Evander Kane, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, and Zach Hyman. Connor Brown, Adam Henrique, and Trent Frederick. And then Podkolzin with Janmark and Arvidsson. Then you got Nurse and Bouchard together, Wallman, Klingberg, and Kulak and Emberson. Now, there was one oddity, and that was Stuart Skinner was in the starting goaltender's net today. But they were at the downtown community arena, so it's a different rink. But there still is a clear starter's net, and Skinner was in it. I asked Chris Knobloch if we should read anything into that. He said no. And I asked if he would tell us who his starter was, and he said no. So no clarity there. Might just be some mind games. Maybe Pickard prefers it. But, based on practice today, and they'll skate again tomorrow, it would appear they're strongly looking at just rolling the same lines out again, Struds. How do you feel about that? Keeping those guys together if this is the way they go and sticking with the big line.
Yeah, I think you got to finish where you start for sure and see how it goes. But this is a different series. Vegas isn't the same as the Kings. For both the forwards and the difference, it'll be a different experience. The thing I do like about it, and I don't want to give away all my trade secrets, but the Oilers have muscle on each line, right? They have someone that can bust through and get to the middle of the ice, whether it's Frederick or Kane, what's that guy's name? Oh yeah, Leon Draisaitl, or who's on the fourth line? Corey Perry. Those guys are all guys that are willing to penetrate the middle of the ice. So I think that is a really good place to start. So just for that, Brownie alone, I would start these lines in game one.
Well, I think they finally found lines that all work. They all had success. The last two games, the number one line, Connor and Leon, did not have, the kind of games that we would expect out of them. The production wasn't there. Yet they won both games because role players started stepping up. Each line has an identity. It's funny. I know that there's always the saying that, we got to break Connor and Leon up. They got to play on separate lines. But if you look around the National Hockey League, every team's best two players play together. Every team. Marner and Matthews, Barkov and Reinhart. Connors and Scheifele with Winnipeg. Everyone does. So to me, it's no big deal, Connor and Leon playing on the same line. And the reason you can do it now is you have an Evander Kane playing like Evander Kane. So now he's running the second line. He's the guy that they are feeding off of him. So Kane, Hyman, and Nugent Hopkins, that is an effective National Hockey League line. So to me, I'd run these lines until Vegas proves they can stop it, and then you can reevaluate.
Zuby, you want to bring up what Vegas is showing for lines here? This is courtesy our friends over at Daily Face-Off, but a quick look here at what Vegas was running towards the tail end of their series. Carlson, Eichel, and Stone, Saad, Hurdle, Kolasar, Barbashev, Waugh, Smith, Olofsson, Howden, and Tanner Pearson. Now, the one thing to keep in mind here is Dorofeev, their 35 goal scorer from this year, did not play game 6 of that series, and he is listed as day-to-day right now, but that's a big add, 30-plus goals, and he spent some time on the top line as well, so we could see a potential adjustment there. But what do you think depth-wise about this matchup up front, Struds?
They have a lot of guys that can score goals. Right now, not a ton, but they have 13 guys, so including D-Man, that had 10 goals or more. And they had quite a few, with more than that. So this team can score. They've got a lot of depth. My concern for Vegas is I don't know if they're that fast. I don't know if it's the fastest group of forwards on the league that they have, but they definitely have depth of scoring with guys like Tanner Pearson and Howden on the fourth line, Brownie.
Well, I think that the LA Kings are a much faster team up front, way faster than the Vegas Golden Knights. I think the Golden Knights are more of a in zone offense type of production type team where they use their size, they'll use cycles down low, and they'll start taking it to the net that way. They will roll 4 lines, which will be different than the LA Kings. So there won't be the advantage where the Oilers can line change them. I think that the LA Kings had better quick strike offense with a Fiala, with a Moore, with a Kempe, guys that could beat you one-on-one. I don't think Vegas plays that way. I think this will be a slower series with less room than we saw at times with the LA Kings. But I do believe they have a very good 12 forwards that are big, strong. I don't think they're stupid physical, but they can wear you down just by their sheer size in the corners.
Yeah, I recall, when I covered that series a couple of years ago, I recall a lot of talk about the Oilers struggling to get to the middle of the ice in some of those games where the Kings had her shut down. And basically that decor, a few flips here and there. But Zuby, if you want to bring up their blue line. Struds, what do you make of this group? And will it be a similar type of challenge for the Oilers to get inside? There you see McNabb, Theodore, Haig, Pietrangelo, Hannafin, and White Cloud.
It's going to be way harder than the Kings. These guys are all huge. they're all pretty mobile, and they have, three guys that can really move the puck in Pietrangelo, Hannafin, and Theodore. The other guys are big and they like to hit McNabb, Haig, and Whitecloud. So it is not going to be pleasant. And getting to the front of the net will be very unpleasant. It's going to be not fun at all. If they get the puck, they're going to be moving up really quick. This group is built to be big, mobile, mean, and move the puck. And this is the biggest area of strength for Vegas, in my opinion, guys.
Well, the huge advantage they have is they run all 6D, and they actually have two other defensemen that aren't dressed that are NHL quality, because they've run 8. They've had a ton of injuries over the last couple of years, so there's a lot of experience in their 7th and 8th defensemen. The one thing that the Oilers did really well against LA was wear down the LA Kings defensemen, because they only played 4, so they finished every check. And the outside of Edmondson, the LA Kings defense wasn't huge. So when Doughty absorbed 7, 8, 10, 12 hits a night, it eventually affected him. And it always will affect players, but as Struds always talks about, size matters. So when Quinn Hughes gets hit 10 times is different than when Shea Theodore gets hit 10 times or Alex Pietrangelo gets hit 10 times. So that, I do believe the strength of the Vegas Golden Knights, their biggest strength is their back end, being big, strong, physical. And as we saw, whenever you play against the Vegas Golden Knights, you have to work to get to the blue paint. They are very good at cutting that off.
Let's get to the Weiss Johnson soundbox. Hear from some of the guys that talked today. Connor McDavid, brought to you by Weiss Johnson Heating and Air Conditioning. Team over at Weiss already seeing an increase in their requests for air conditioners, so give them a call today and beat the rush. Specializing in servicing your existing mechanical systems or installing new ones, they're here for all your home comfort needs. Visit weiss-johnson.com today. Jingle.
Weiss Johnson, whoa.
Clarifying, Maverick said in the stream here, Rishaug tweeted Skinner is starting game 1. I did not tweet that, Maverick. I just pointed out he was in the starter's net today, but that we weren't going to read too much into that. And again, Chris Knobloch saying today he wouldn't say who was starting in net. So what can you learn from a series that had a lot of the same principal players, but it was played a couple of seasons ago? As we know, Vegas beat the Oilers in 6 games a couple of seasons ago. Here's Connor McDavid.
Yeah, I guess just managing the game better, understanding certain situations, think about that game. I mean, it's years ago now, whatever, but think about that game 5. We have the lead and find ourselves on a 5-on-3. Can't put ourselves in that position, and obviously we got to grab it there. We give up 3 and however many minutes there, and the game's kind of flipped. So, again, all learning lessons along the way, and lessons learned, I guess, along the way, and hopefully use them moving forward here in this series. A great team. It was only a couple years when they beat us and they won. So they're a proven group, battle tested. It'll be a great series.
Okay, and let's just go back over that series again real quick here, gents, for people that might not have it close to their memory. The Oilers lost game 1. It basically went loss, win, and then Vegas wins 2 in a row, 4-3 and 5-2. But there was, Connor was just talking about that pivotal turning point in game 5. If you guys recall, the Oilers were in good shape. And 3 goals against they give up in about $130, give or take. 2 on the power play, 1 even strength. They find themselves down 5-on-3. Critical lessons learned about big moments. Struds, I know it was a couple of years ago, but that clearly fresh in McDavid's mind.
Yeah, I think if I remember correctly, I think they started talking about that after. They have to learn just to manage and just be patient in their game. Right. I remember it felt like at times they're trying to chase it, and just, it's okay. It's okay. You give up a goal. You don't have to get it back right away. Just keep managing and being calm. And I think we saw that, especially in the run last year. They were much calmer. So that was a hard lesson to learn. And we also have to remember Darnell Nurse suspension, right? In that one. And that I think that doesn't help the Oilers' quest to win that series, Brownie.
Yeah, but at the same time, wasn't Pietrangelo's, he was suspended the same game. So it was kind of a saw-off with Nurse being gone. I think that the Oilers are a much more disciplined team now than they were back then. That's where the Oilers would take silly penalties. They would take retaliatory ones. They would take ones where if they got frustrated and they initiated a lot of those. The Oilers are a very smart team now when it comes to being disciplined. I think that is something they've learned from a lot of different experiences. I also remember in that series, the Oilers were better in games 5 and 6, but the goalie, Aiden Hill, stood on his head. So that's what was so frustrating for a lot of the Oilers players, is they felt they outplayed Vegas in that series, and they should have won or could have won and didn't. But at the end of the day, they've played, 8 times, 10 times since that series. There's a lot of different players on both teams. These are new teams built differently now. I think both teams right now feel that they're capable of winning a Stanley Cup, and they should. So it's going to be fun, but I do believe it'll be a different series than the LA Kings series. I think goal scoring opportunities will be fewer against Vegas than it was against the LA Kings.
Yeah. I believe, was Skinner pulled in 3 of the games in that Vegas series? I think he was pulled in game 6, 4 goals on 17 shots. Was he pulled in 5 and 3 as well? I was looking at his game log and I noticed he hadn't played a full 60 minutes in 3 of the games. So couldn't recall directly, but the goals against piled up there on the Oilers, especially in those last couple of games there. For those that weren't watching Vegas and Mini, so they played a 6-game series. Vegas won the first game, lost 2 in a row, and then bounced back to win 3 straight. Some interesting things in that series. Brett Howden ends up with 2 goals in the first game, also scored an overtime winner in game 5 of that series. So, maybe not someone you'd have at the top of your bingo card for having a big series. He scored 3 goals in that series, and they were definitely big ones. And they were outscored 19-18 overall in that series, but end up winning. So, they pushed through. It was a physical series, a hard-fought series, and they get past the Minnesota Wild. But Kaprizov and company, Brownie, they put up some points against those guys. Like the Minnesota Big Dogs ate a little bit in that series.
Well, I think they're good. That first line of the Minnesota Wild, one of the top lines in the National Hockey League. A lot of people don't remember that Minnesota in January, before they ran into injuries, were a top 3 team in the NHL. Yeah. So it was going to be a hard series with the Vegas Golden Knights. But yeah, I watched some of those games, and Minnesota pushed them. Minnesota got chances. They were an inch on an offside challenge from being up in game 5, because that would have put them up 3-2 with a minute to go in the game. So Vegas were fortunate to get through that series. The Oilers will get chances. Again, we're 2 years from the last series. That means the older players for the Vegas Golden Knights are 2 years older. Like Pietrangelo, a couple more miles on him now. So the Edmonton, I like the Oilers against Vegas. I think Vegas is a fantastic hockey club. But Kaprizov and Eriksson Ek, fantastic players. They're not Connor and Leon. And if those two can have success against the Vegas Golden Knights, Strides, I still feel that 97 and 29 can find the back of the net as well.
Yeah, because I wrote down a concerns and a plus list here for the Oilers, and at the top of my plus list was Wild top players each had 5 goals, Boldy and Kaprizov. So if those guys are scoring goals, that means that Connor and Leon can find opportunities as well, right, to score.
Yeah,
and not that it's all about them scoring. Like we just saw the last series, it wasn't just about them. But they found ways. These guys can find ways for sure. They can find ways. So, and then that means other guys like the Henriques or Browns or Perrys, like with smart hockey IQs, they can figure it out. So that was actually at the top of my plus list for the Oilers.
Love it. Okay, coming up in our next segment, we're going to we'll make a few predictions. So predictions on the series. I'll ask a couple other questions. Get you guys to make a couple of predictions. We'll get to that next. We got Brownie Points and Struddy's World, and Ryan Marsh is going to join us, and we'll talk a little bit about the tactics involved, the neutral zone, defensive zone system that the Vegas Golden Knights employ, how that might be different, and some strategies the Oilers might be able to employ. And then we got Ask Us Anything as well coming up at the tail end of the podcast. So get your questions in. Zuby will keep track of them, and we will get to that as well. Good, healthy number here on a Sunday night. We appreciate it. Quick break. Throw us a thumbs up, and we'll be right back with our predictions. Which way is the big guy gonna go? We all need to know. Stay with us.
So at Timberhouse, our guiding philosophy is naturally inspired living. We believe that through design, we can solve problems and enhance people's lives. We follow biophilic design principles in all of our builds to incorporate natural materials, natural light, to enhance all the spaces in a home. When you have your space perfectly reflect who you are and what you value, and it's made well, we think that that just leads to better living.
Choosing the right health and dental coverage can feel overwhelming, but Alberta Blue Cross is here to make it simple. Their user-friendly website features a free quote tool to guide you through choosing your plan, or you can chat directly with one of their specialists for personalized help. Every plan includes access to personal, nutritional, and financial counseling at no extra cost. Visit ab.bluecross.ca/personal to learn more.
All right, time now for takeaways brought to you by Martin Motorsports. Summer's around the corner, so why not make this year a Sea-Doo summer? Whether you're fishing, wave jumping, just cruising on the water with friends, Sea-Doo lets you ride your way. The water is summoning you. Answer the call with Martin Motorsports. Visit them at their 2 Edmonton locations or view their Sea-Doo inventory online at martinmotorsports.ca. We just dropped the boat off at Martin Motorsports this last week. Do some service on your existing boats if you want. They make it easy, make it simple, super friendly staff, and I was actually able to tow the boat all the way there, Struddy, in Yellowhead traffic. It was not my comfort zone. I have not done a lot of towing boats, and it was, through those tight little lanes, bobbing and weaving and such. But then when we got it there, I had to park it, and then you know how you have to block the tires so the trailer can't go in either direction. Well, I guess they were making fun of me after because I didn't know which side of the tires to block because I didn't know which way the trailer might roll. I couldn't quite read the park. So I had them blocked up like tons of blocks on. I was afraid. I was afraid it was going to roll into someone's truck or roll away or something. So the guys were having a laugh and I got a few chirps after the fact. Are you an experienced boat hauler? I don't love doing it.
Well, it's funny. I got a boat out at our lake. My buddies don't let me haul my boat. They put it in the water for me and they bring the boat out of the water for me. They don't even let me try. So I understand your pain right there, Schauger. There's zero chance I'm driving a boat anywhere.
Well, and the last time, they're going to, do all the seasonal stuff to it. The last time I tried to do that and get the boat water-worthy myself, I got 3 minutes out into the middle of Cold Lake and all of a sudden there was water rushing into the boat and smoke billowing up in the air. I had to get my brother-in-law to come and save me with his boat and tow us back to shore because, that's how handy I am. So a couple of, I've learned the hard way. Just send it to Martin Motorsports and let them figure it out for you. And they're good at that kind of thing. Okay, let's get to some predictions and such, gents. Maybe we'll just get right to that, okay? And give me your prediction, how many games, and kind of what you think the difference ends up being. So, Brownie, let's go with you.
I got Oilers in 7. I have them winning in overtime in Game 6 to force Game 7, and they win Game 7. Yeah, I mean,
wow. So you have them down 3-2, and
I have them down 3-2 coming home. Game 6, the way it's supposed to be. That's why they have the home games and the away games. They win Game 6 in overtime, force their way back to Vegas. They win Game 7 in Vegas. Their power play will be the difference in this series.
I love that amount of detail. That the pressure's on now for the rest of us to come up with something like that. We're gonna do Struds last. Zuby, your turn for a prediction next, buddy. What do you got?
Well, I'll stick with what I said on the last show, which is I said Oilers in 7 as well. And boy, I want it to have some sort of great detail like Brownie had, to have something really specific, like Connor McDavid will accidentally spill a Gatorade bottle will open up and splash on him as he's taking a drink in the second period of Game 4, and it'll make all the blooper reels. But that's kind of unrelated to the outcome, so I'll say Oilers in 7.
All right. I'm going to, I got chirpy last time about picking a series in 6 because I feel like it's fence sitting. So I'm not going to do that this time around. I'm going to say Oilers in 5. I'm going to say a split on the road, win both at home, and then get game 5. So a bit of an aggressive call there, but I think that their power play was sneaky better than it probably got credit for in the first round. Their numbers ended up actually being pretty good. I think their penalty kill is getting itself sorted out. They've got some continuity in their lines, and I think that McDavid and Draisaitl will feast more in this series than maybe they did the last time around. So an aggressive call from me. Struddy, what do you got, buddy? Bring it on.
Yeah, well, this was a lot easier than last time. This was a snap. A couple of things are going to happen between game 3 and game 4. I believe there'll be a solar eclipse. The Canadian dollar is going to rise 5% between now and May 13th. I'm planning on getting a haircut. Not sure which day yet, so that's also coming up.
Very specific.
But
good. Yeah.
I have the Oilers in 6. This is why. I believe that Adin Hill, we haven't even talked about their goaltending, has been chaotic. Yeah, I believe his save percentage has struggled in the overtime in the playoffs. So, and I'm not suggesting the Oilers are going to lock it down, but I think that both teams this will be chaotic for both of them, and that breeds opportunities to have good nights and bad nights for each team. I think the Oilers will find a way to split it down in Vegas, then they'll come home and that place will be rocking, and then they'll get it done in 6. So, all joking aside, this was way easier than the other one because of the depth of the Oilers and the goaltending from Vegas that we've seen so far in this playoffs.
I'll let Darnell know tomorrow that you've picked the Oilers, because he was pretty angry at you, as we heard, for your choice in the first round. What do you think, Brownie?
Well, I mean, it's about time you joined the rest of us on the bandwagon, Struds. Seriously.
No,
there's going to be a parade. There's going to be a parade late June. I'm not sure you're going to be invited to it, Jason, but
no,
GYB will be there. GYB will still be there at the parade.
Yeah, it was hard. Like last time, it was hard. I don't like going against them, but I just the stacks it stacked up against them. I looked genius for the first couple holes, and then we got to hole 3 and 4, and it turned on pretty quick.
I've seen that happen before. Okay. A couple of other thoughts, guys. How many games within your prediction does Calvin Pickard play? How many games within your prediction does Pickard play?
7.
So you think he goes the distance? Interesting.
Yep.
So you got the Oilers losing 3 games in the series and no switch being made.
You don't switch just because my goalie loses. I mean, no. If you lose, that means you're in a little bit of trouble, and now you're going to put in the goalie that you didn't have enough faith in the first round, who had an off year. Unless Calvin Pickard completely has a meltdown, I got him playing all 7 games.
Okay, Struds, what do you think?
Yeah, Brownie, what you say makes a lot of sense. Just because the goalie plays a bad game doesn't mean you pull him out. I do believe that Skinner has a higher ceiling, and I do think if they're going to win 3-4 rounds, they need him in there. I think the fact that Adin Hill is going to be or could be chaotic or has been chaotic, I think that favors Skinner because it favors Pickard because he finds way to win games. Like he gives up 4 and they win the game 5-4, right? And like at the end of the day, that's what it's all about. So he may hang around a long time, but I'm going to go. Oh my God, sorry, Calvin. Probably game 5 or 6 where we see him come in. Although I guess
in my prediction of 5 games, I got Pickard in all of them because I don't know that they'll. But I do think what I'm going to be really interested to see here is how quick the switch is made if and when the Oilers do lose. Because Brownie, I don't disagree with what you say. If you lose a game and Pickard plays really well, you should probably just need to go back to him. He's probably earned that in these playoffs, right? But, Skinner's their starter, and he's been their starter. And I just don't know that they'll have the patience to give Pickard another go with Skinner sitting there when they also believe that Skinner's a good bounce-back goaltender. I'm not saying it's right, but I'm going to be fascinated to see, Struddy, how long the leash ends up actually being, because it might be shorter than people think for what he's earned.
Yeah, but Brownie makes a good point. He's done this. This is not like 2 games like we saw last year. This is a long time. He's played well and he's winning games. That's really what it is. It's about winning the games. So I'm not super confident that he won't play them all, But I just go on that Skinner is better. He's the better goalie high end. So they have to get him going. And I don't know if getting going against Vegas is a plan. Maybe that just lives with Pickard in there.
Oh, they can get him going next season. But to me,
Yeah,
Calvin
fair,
Pickard is your goalie right now. He's your starter. He's been your better goaltender. In all honesty, he's been your better goalie all year long.
Consistent for sure.
Avi Hoffman, got to take it game by game. Unfortunate son, run Pickard until he is done. Pickard is the man for now, says Avi Hoffman. What else we got? Shane Sperling says, picks until he loses decisively. And then Gomez says, Struds would load manage Pickard. Yeah, he's always about that load management, that Struddy. I like that call. Choose a player that we will, outside 97 and 29, that we will be talking about in this series significantly for the Oilers. Brownie, you can go first.
Zach Hyman. I think he's due. I think he's due to break out. I thought we saw a physicality from him in the last series. I think in the next series, you're going to see the scoring touch come back. So to me, Zach Hyman's going to have a big impact offensively in this series.
Awesome, Brownie. That's an awesome one. I'm worried about John Klingberg. I've been this big, heavy team of Vegas in his own zone. He didn't face that a lot against the Kings because they weren't forechecking a ton when he got in. You think about he was game 3, right? Till game 6. Mm-hmm. Didn't play a ton in his zone. So I'm worried. He's a player that I'm if he can continue to play well with Wallman, who's playing really well beside him, he's playing really well beside Wallman. That's huge for the Oilers. So I think this is a huge storyline for the Oilers.
This one is a little bit less on the nose because I don't think it's going to be about points or offense, but I think we're going to be shaking our heads and going, holy smokes, the value. I think Brett Kulak is going to have a fantastic series. I think he's going to be steady. I think he's going to pile up a ton of minutes. I think he's going to play lots and be excellent. So as I said, it's not going to be super obvious, but I just think Kulak's going to be really good and really dependable for them. I just love the way the guy skates, and I love the way he elevates in the playoffs. Zuby, you want to pick someone on this one?
This is probably picking high end, but maybe Evan Bouchard.
All right. He'll find his defensive game, not just pile up the points.
And just be hopefully not noticeable on defense. That's what you want. Maybe we just won't notice him as much.
Yeah. Right on. Okay. What other questions do I have? Where is it here? The lines. I mean, history would show that it takes Knobloch a couple of games and the team a couple of games to sort itself out. But Struds, do you think they have a chance with this set of lines? That does it feel like they might have a setup here that for the most part can hold? Maybe some tweaks here and there, but really a top 6 that this can hold?
Yeah, I haven't done very well explain this in English, so I'll try to use English because I know it doesn't make sense. I think the lines are balanced, and that's the word I've been searching for. They're balanced, and I think that makes a big difference because the teams I played against that won the Stanley Cup, yes, they had their high-end talent, but line after line after line, it was the same. It was just wave after wave after wave, the same way. We forechecked. You're on them. You're just rolling, and it feels like these 4 lines can do it. So there is, I think, for the first time under Knobloch's rule that these could be the 4 lines that we start with, and we could see them maybe get to the finish line in this series. Brownie,
I agree, and I think 2 names because they're able to do it because of 2 names. Corey Perry, you have a 4th line guy who would probably have been your 12th forward, who's now playing on your first line. So that the fact that he can play there just changes the complexion of your other 9 forwards. And Evander Kane, I don't think any of us expect him to be this good coming back after 10 months. Now, instead of him finding his way in, starting at the 4th or 3rd line, he's solid on the second line. He was the best player on the second line. And then the third thing about all of it is coaches, when they look at lines, they look at trust. Can I put this line out here? I think Knobloch trusts there's someone on every line that is defensive conscious, somebody that he can trust that if it's in its own zone, they can get it done. And all the way through the lineup, and he's talked about it a lot. We're not worried about our lines, our 4th line getting caught out against the top line of the other team. We trust them. So I think to me, this is the lines they're going to roll with. Now they're always going to mess around with them after power plays, end of period, stuff like that, TV timeouts. But I do believe that this will be the 4 lines that they will roll with until Vegas proves that they're not capable of getting beat by them.
One more time to the Weiss Johnson soundbox. Connor McDavid on the evolution of his team through that first round.
I think games 1 and 2 were definitely clunky. Just, with the lineup that hadn't played together a whole lot. Definitely getting more of the rhythm of things. Guys are getting healthier and healthier. Getting their timing back. That's starting to look a little bit more like it's supposed to look. Even so, I don't think our game's been perfect. We still have ways to go, and I'd expect our best coming into the series.
Okay, let's wrap up the segment with our DeBoer's Golf Shop and Fitting Center YouTube poll. Golf season is here. Dust off the old clubs and get ready for the season. New grips, new driver. Hey, why not a whole new set? DeBoer's can hook you up. Locally owned and operated. They've been in business for over 25 years. Ready to help you play better golf. Visit them on the corner of 53rd Ave and 99th Street or at deboersgolf.com. Zuby?
Well, we had our chance, so we're giving the stream their chance to chime in and pick. What is your prediction for this Oilers-Vegas series? We got Vegas in 4 or 5, Oilers in 4 or 5, Vegas in 6 or 7, Oilers in 6 or 7. Pretty partisan crowd so far. Just a chance for everyone to see what they think, to let us know what they think is going to happen, and lots of votes coming in.
All right, and we will reveal the results coming up a little bit later on in the show. Quick break. When we come back, Brownie Points and Struddy's World. You got it dialed in to Got Your Back. Presented by Play Alberta. We'll see you in a minute.
Specializing in heavy-duty commercial truck powertrain repair, performance, tuning, and part sales, Adrenaline Diesel's professional team is ready to assist you with all of your needs, from the simplest oil changes to engine conversions, overhauls, and engine modifications. Featuring an all-new online parts store and machine shop to manufacture, replicate, or repair parts, visit adrenalinediesel.ca.
At Gallery Dental, we believe in blending exceptional care with artistry to create the perfect smile for you. From routine cleanings to advanced cosmetic procedures, our team is dedicated to providing top-notch care in a relaxed and comfortable environment. With state-of-the-art technology and a passion for perfection, we ensure that every visit is a positive experience. Join the Gallery Dental family and let us help you achieve a smile that you'll love to show off. Contact us today at secolandentistry.com.
Ready to go all in this season? Mr. Dirk's got you covered with express on-site tailoring, a wide selection of craftsman-made suits, sport coats, and casual staples for every occasion. Score big with Mr. Dirk. We've always got your back. Visit us off White Ave, south of 102nd Street, or browse online at mrdirk.com.
Which one are we doing first, Sugar?
Oh, let's do Brownie Points, buddy.
Okay, great. Here's the music.
Sorry, I thought I said that in the break.
You did, but I might not have been listening.
Oh, all right. Fair enough. Time for Brownie Points, brought to you by Hamel's Premium Jerky, the ultimate jerky haul. They've got you covered. 4 pounds of their mouth-watering jerky, $139 plus 5 free jerky-flavored pepperoni sticks with your order. It's really, really good stuff. I have had it. Free shipping Alberta-wide. That's a whole lot of premium protein, packed goodness, perfect for road trips, job sites, or just being the go-to snack. Visit albertajerky.com for you to order. Brownie? I think you might be muted there, big fella.
And here I'm back.
Oh, you know how to mute
Not a lot
yourself
of
since when?
Yes,
I'm
I
so
did. I
proud
muted
of
myself.
you.
I put myself in a timeout. We're gonna be staying away from Oiler content tonight because they haven't played in a while. But we're gonna go stay in Canada. I got 12 brownie points to Winnipeg Jets. Neil Pionk, who with no Josh Morrissey because of injury in this game, played over 12 minutes in the third period himself as they were trying to come back in that game. Finished with over 46 minutes. He had 3 assists, including an assist on the game winner, and was +2. An unbelievable night for Neil Pionk. Funny thing about that, not even one of your 3 stars. 3 assists, +2, 46 minutes. They can't find him a star after the game. I got eight brownie points to Dallas Stars' Mikko Rantanen, whose year was complicated at best. He had 8 points in the last 2 games of the series, including 3 goals and an assist in the final 20 minutes to lead his new team, the Stars, over his old team, the Avs. Dallas Stars got the best player in all of those trades that happened with Rantanen this year. He showed up in this series in Games 6 and 7, and one of the big reasons I feel that the Winnipeg Jets are going to struggle against a Dallas Star team. And I've got 7 brownie points to the Dallas Stars that beat the Stanley Cup contending Colorado Avalanche in 7 games without their top goal scorer, Robertson, and their best player, Heiskanen. This team is going to be really good now. This team is really good now and going to be much better when those 2 players come back here in the second round. I got 91 brownie points to Jets' Cole Perfetti, young kid who had to step up in the absence of the Jets' number 1 center, Mark Scheifele. He had 2 goals tonight, both pretty deflections, but the power play goal in the second period, he was about 7 feet left of the goalpost and deflected it upstairs over Binnington. That skill set is not something that every player in the NHL possesses. It was 10 out of 10 on the difficulty level. He is going to have to be big again against the Dallas Stars. In the last one, I got 25 brownie points to National Hockey League playoff overtime games. I've played in a few. It is so much fun watching. It is so much fun playing. You saw the fans. They didn't sit down in Winnipeg tonight. And as I'm watching this, my wife reminded me that 25 years ago today, I played in a 5 overtime game with the Pittsburgh Penguins against the Philadelphia Flyers. It didn't end up well for me, as I think it's Keith Primo. Keith Primo scored game-winning goals, a pretty one, in the 5th overtime. But to me, there is nothing better than watching a playoff hockey game that goes into overtime. Well, actually, there is one thing. When it goes into second overtime and then into third overtime. That was unbelievable, that game, Winnipeg, tonight. I hope there's a lot more overtimes in the near future. And those tonight, Schauger, are the brownie points.
Love it. Way to push through, my friend. You might be in the running for Relentless Player tonight as well, pushing through the laryngitis. Struds, overtime winners for you in your career, whether it be junior or the NHL or anything you recall? Have you scored an overtime winner? I got one.
Yeah, I've got one too. I think Sidney Crosby was on the ice, but whatever. Let's not talk about all the famers he beat. That goes on all night. No, I think I don't remember. We were so good in junior. We just beat everybody. And then I wasn't very good in the NHL, so we didn't beat anyone.
So are you saying I had one in Philadelphia. I scored in Philadelphia. And then I set one up against the Rangers. I think I had one with the Hartford Whalers. It's fun. It's pretty cool when you score in overtime. It's just an incredible moment. So I think I'm pretty sure I watched you score a couple for the Kamloops Blazers. They weren't overtime winners. They were the 3rd goal in a 12-1 win, but they were still big ones at the moment.
Don't. It was like a 7th goal in a 10-1 win. Like, I remember one time I scored from the blue line. It was the worst goal, and the guys taped it, and it was slow. And after I went to do the pumpernickel, I raised up and I ran into the referee, and we both fell down. And the guys were relentless on me. Yeah. He's like, and it was like the 8th goal. It was so embarrassing. I was just like, oh my God.
Yeah.
I'm out of here.
I got an OT goal in a regular season game in Seattle. Couldn't believe I was on the ice, banged in a weak little backhand. It was pretty cool. It's definitely a different feeling when you score and the whole night's over. Just ends everything, Brownie. It's just, that's it. Just all over. You won it.
Well, and there's no better feeling right now for Lowry, for the Winnipeg Jets, a double overtime winner in Game 7. It doesn't matter what happens the rest of the year for the Winnipeg Jets. That's a moment Lowry will never forget.
Legendary stuff. All right, let's get to Struddy's World. Roll the animation, Zoobs.
When you make a mistake, heads should roll. It's not right. And I'm here. Someone has to put their foot down. Now that I say it out loud, it does sound a little crazy.
Gotta look good.
All right, time now for Struddy's World. It's brought to you by Timber House. Tired of those dull cookie cutter houses that scream meh from every angle? At Timber House, they're looking to shake things up. Their design harnessing the power of natural light to brighten your days and lift your spirits. Let them build you a place where laughter and good times are part of their blueprint. Visit timberhouse.com Timberhomes.ca. Some very cool designs that you can find. Unique homes over at Timber House. Big guy, where are we going tonight? We going hockey? We going off the grid? What are we doing? What's the mood?
You know, I love to get personal in between series, and I recently discovered something about myself. I don't have a lot of regrets. Maybe should have started Propecia younger. And then the other one is the style of clothes I wore as a younger man. So this is what happened. Last night I went out for dinner with my wife and another couple. And I wore like a kind of a cowboy shirt, you know, with the sleeves are cut off a little bit. And instead of doing the button up tight, instead of doing the button up tight, I let it down a little bit. I had a fairly deep plunging neckline, a little bit of chest hair showing up like Larry from Three's Company. I walked into this restaurant and it got embarrassing. I'm like, ladies, please, my eyes are up here. I mean, like, pretend I'm just not a piece of meat sitting in the window. So I kind of think about it the last 24 hours. It happened about 24 hours ago. And my regret, I had a friend named Johnny V-Neck. He always wore the plunging necklines. And I wish I would have done that more often, because when I came out of there, I was feeling pretty good at myself. I'm like, this does look good. It is an attractive look. So moving forward, I think I will have a little bit more plunging neckline. It is creepier as the older you get to do it, but I missed out in my 20s, so I'm going to do it now at this age, guys.
You know, you lost me when you had the cowboy shirt with the cut-off sleeves. I never listened to anything after that.
Well, not cut. It was just shorter.
I'm trying to picture what you were wearing. You described that horribly. I am actually thinking cowboy shirt with no sleeves and a plunging neckline.
Trailer Trash Boys or whatever that show was. I'm thinking of a shirt that one of those guys would have worn. Is that what you're going with?
As per usual, you guys get distracted on the details when I'm thinking big picture. I'm thinking about the whole world here. I can't send that picture, and our viewers won't be able to handle it. Northern Farm Girl, she's knows what I'm talking about. She knows the shirt I'm talking about. The style.
No. Just one sec. I'm going to see if there's a picture. Hey, Shones, you up? ? Shoggy dog. Let's see.
No, don't.
Just send me the picture.
Yeah,
just send me the picture.
No pictures there. No one's. I bet you some people in the restaurant flashed a couple pictures. Hey, there goes Jason Smith with that cool shirt on.
Jeez, Judd. So I've seen some pictures of you, and so, do we need to run the clothing intervention video? I think on off night would be a perfect night to run the clothing intervention video.
We don't need to.
I mean,
but you're getting distracted again. So the point of my story is that I regret. I'm sharing something I wish I would have done when I was younger, and you guys are just mocking it, right? A little bit of a plunger, the one or two buttons undone, not on the golf course. So this is just when I'm walking into a bar.
Well, you know what? Can you do me a favor? Our next podcast, maybe 2 buttons undone for us, just for the viewers to see what they've been missing.
I don't know. The reaction would be overwhelming. I mean, we might get pushed off. Too sexy.
Matt Blom says if someone has a quote clothing intervention video, then they have problems. LOL. Yes, Matt Blom. We can't show you the entire video, but I'm just gonna remind you all who has final say on all things Struddy fashion wise.
You are an absolute horrendous dresser. Is this guy blind? I hope you have a great day.
But
Henrik Lundqvist, ladies and gentlemen. Henrik Lundqvist.
He has no credibility. I mean, he's got a small body. He's like 5'11", 180. That's like dressing a Ken doll. Anyone can dress that.
What's wrong with 5'11", 180?
It's easy to dress. You go into Le Chateau and you just grab something off the rack and put it on. When you've got shoulders like bowling balls and a neck thicker than an oak tree, you can't go to Le Chateau.
We're done. We're done.
We're
out. We're out. Brownie, it's time for you to go, buddy.
Okay, please.
Next time
please
we'll
let me
see
go.
You, we'll be after game 1, buddy. Take care of that, boys. Some lozenges. Right. If anybody's got any home remedies, send them Brownie's way. And can't wait to chat after game 1, pal.
All right. Night, everyone.
Rest
Bye,
up.
Struds.
Rest up.
Shoulders like bowling balls and a neck like an oak tree. You have mirrors at your house, right? Like you're a good sized guy, but like you're describing The Rock or the Mountain from Game of Thrones. I mean, I think you got a little bit of confusion going on about your reflection, bud.
But it's not me. I could see it in the eyes the reflection in the eyes I saw the people I was walking through the restaurant last night with this plunging neck thing.
All right, let's get to our relentless player of the night, brought to you by UCAN Youth Services. An Edmonton charity relentless in helping youth age 16 to 24 get out of harm's way and find employment. Visit ucan.ca to see how your donation can change lives right here in our community. Struds, Brownie gets an honorable mention, certainly, for grinding through with his voice sounding like he just ate a pack of Colts. But who are you giving the relentless player to tonight?
Yeah, for sure. I almost gave it to a guy who has slight allergies. I mean, I get it. I don't know how he could have done it. Instead, I'm going to give it to a D-man. Neil Pionk, 46 minutes, 3 assists, absolute animal. Tonight, I didn't even have to force the D-man getting it. It was a natural fit. Neil Pionk brings it home for the Jets. Crazy, crazy night for him.
All right. And the Jets are moving on. Direct flights, baby. I'm cheering for the direct flights. That's why Vegas is beauty too. Nice, easy direct flights in and out. Okay, when we come back, we're going to check in with Ryan Marsh. Let's talk a little bit of tactics. What do the Vegas Golden Knights employ? What's the right way to try and break it? Marshy is going to join us. So stay with us here on Got Your Back, presented by Play Alberta. Throw us a thumbs up during the break.
For over 60 years, Belvedere Golf and Country Club has delivered a high-quality membership experience to Edmonton and area. And now it's even better. Drainage and irrigation improvements in 2024 have taken course conditions to a new level. This commitment to long-term sustainability means exceptional playing conditions all season long. Belvedere's tee sheet availability is unmatched, so join now and experience golf the way it was meant to be played, on your schedule. Visit BelvedereGCC.com today.
If you're considering a vinyl fence, don't be fooled by cheap marketplace imitations. Get top quality vinyl fence from a trusted company with 20 years in the industry. With locations in Calgary and Edmonton, check out DLRvinylproducts.ca.
Join over 250,000 Canadians who have upgraded to Canada's best mattress. Douglas is proudly made in Canada and ships directly to your door for free. Douglas is easy to set up. Enjoy perfectly balanced comfort and an easy-to-clean machine washable cover. Get a free sleep bundle with your Douglas mattress. Try risk-free for 365 nights. Get your Douglas mattress today.
Yeah, you know it.
All right, time now for our core adjustments, brought to you by HSE Core Services. If you're a small to medium-sized business, HSE Core has your back when it comes to health and safety compliance. From creating and managing a tailored health and safety program meeting all legislative and core requirements, they support client operations every step of the way. They got your back, is basically what I'm saying. Visit www.hsecor.com. 2 years, U of A Golden Bears coach, 8 years in the WHL between Edmonton and Saskatoon, a year in the DEL German top league, and a couple of years with Spruce Grove as well. A wealth of coaching experience, and he has put his coaching brain to breaking down the Vegas Golden Knights and the Edmonton Oilers. Ryan Marsh coming back to the pod for a third time. Marshy, what can you say about that Struddy's world? Like, what can you even add to that mess?
Like I was thinking I needed to go change my shirt here before the start of the show or before coming on here with you guys. I thought about it, but the bowling ball shoulders and the oak neck is
neck?
The oak tree. That's what it was. The oak tree neck. That's a lot. That's a lot to take there.
A lot of visuals there.
I don't know what to say, guys. Just trying to be honest.
Just telling truths. You give the guy his own segment. Yeah, you give the guy his own segment, and probably 3 out of every 10 he spends patting himself on the back. I don't know if DLR or if Timberhouse, our two sponsors of that segment, had any idea that it would, 30% of the time it would be Struddy patting himself on the back. But the people seem to like it.
I'm glad we didn't have to talk about the jeans, the tight jeans that went with the shirt.
Oh, I know. Marshy, have you ever coached with jeans under your track pants? Have you ever seen anyone else do that ever in your life, ever?
I actually have not, but I've heard about it. I have heard about it, and it's not just on this show. I've heard some other guys talk about the the quick change, the track pants over jeans. I've heard about it, but no, I have not seen it.
Yeah, so just to give some context, remember before how they used to do high jump? They would just jump it. Now they do that flop. Someone had to be the first guy, and that's what I am. I'm a trailblazer.
You're an innovator.
Yeah, it's coming. It's coming. Don't worry about it.
I like being warm on the ice, so I can see there being some positives there. But usually it's just some long underwear under the tracksuit, not the jeans.
Hashtag not too sexy.
Okay. All right, enough's enough. Marshy, you came on during the LA series, did a great job helping to break down some of what was going on there. You took some time to look at Vegas. So what's kind of your headline as far as the biggest differences tactically that the Oilers are going to run into here against Vegas? Just your top line item or two.
Now, you guys have done a good job, kind of breaking it down already and talking about their personnel and a lot of the differences and just the depth of their defense, which is a lot different. And then the spine of their team so strong. Their centermen are so strong. But the biggest difference, and Chris Knobloch alluded to it today in his scrum today, was they're going from a team. The Kings played more of a man-on-man D zone. This will be one of the major differences where you're rolling out of the corner. You get the puck low, and a forward starts to roll out of the corner in the offensive zone. Well, if the defenseman's with you, if Joel Edmondson's with you, or Drew Doughty, they're staying with you. You're rolling high into the, towards the blue line. The defenseman's staying with you, and they're essentially everyone's grabbing a man and marking a man. With Vegas, they have more zone tendencies, and they'll hand off to their centerman. Those D will hand off to the centerman, and they'll keep their D closer to the net. The big Struds alluded to it already. They're big, strong D that are, they're not only big, but they're mobile and they're mean. And so they keep those guys a little bit closer to the net, and that's how they play. It's very actually similar to what St. Louis does. It's the same concept. It's something that Cassidy did in Boston, Jimmy Montgomery did in Boston. It's very similar. So you saw tonight what St. Louis was doing for a lot of the game, and then you collapse and you're very tight. You're taking away the middle, and you're giving up some stuff from the outside. And that stuff from the outside, you're a lot of times gets blocked. It doesn't even get to the net, and it's hard to maneuver through that. But that'll be one of the major differences from the Kings, which was, like I said, a little bit more of a man-on-man D zone. So I know Minnesota did a really good job of finding soft ice and finding ice where that handoff is starting. If you can kind of exploit where the D is realizing, okay, I'm not rolling high, I'm now going to allow my centerman to come and pick up that forward, there's a handoff. And so if you can attack that area when that handoff is taking place, that's where you can find potentially a little bit of time and space and some ice, or a little bit higher in the slot, especially when that puck's behind the net. Something that Vegas will do is they'll collapse everyone to the house, to the slot, very tight. So not only are the D open, but higher in the slot. If you can find that higher ice in the slot, when you make a play from behind the net, that's more available than just right in front. Right in front, there's not going to be a lot of ice there. But if you can find that above the hash mark area, that's Minnesota did that numerous times to create some chances and some offense. So if you're looking for those situations, and potentially the weak side D, because the weak side winger will really be low and really locked down in that slot area. So the weak side D can be active in finding some ice and a little bit of a lane when you're rolling out of the corner potentially too. And Minnesota, when they had success, that's what they did a really good job of in this last series that Vegas was in.
Marshy, any advantage to bringing the high roller up? So bringing that forward way up high, maybe even between the two D men on the blue line, or roll them out high just to create, maybe expand that zone at all of defending?
Yeah, because it creates a little bit of indecision too. And if you can do it with purpose and be direct at it, like I said, you might be able to catch them in transition. So that D at some point has to make a decision. I'm not going to go with that forward. I'm going to release and get back to the net. And so if you can roll quickly and start to roll high and then make plays back at the net before that D can get back, that'll be another way to potentially create some offense. But that means getting there. That means the Oilers forwards, the Perrys of the world, the Canes, the Hymans, the Fredericks, the Podkolzins, these guys that got that little bit of a power forward mentality. Perry's one of the best at it. they have to get there so that when pucks go in there, they can be, inside position on these D that are recovering back to the net. Because if they get there, they do a really good job to box out, or in a lot of cases, the D will front and block shots because they're big. They'll knock it down and then boom, they're gone on transition. You knock a puck down, their forwards are gone. Their forwards take off. At least one usually blows the zone, and that's one of their routes to create some counter offense from their D zone.
What do you think the Oilers will experience in their own end in this series, and how will it differ from LA?
It's a heavier team. You guys kind of alluded to it already. It's 4 lines that basically Cassidy will roll for, and they've changed their lines a little bit as that series went on. They had to find their way, just like the Oilers did in that last series. So they actually had Eichel and Karlsson. I think you guys talked about that on the same line with Stone to create some offense. But what they want to do is they want to wear you down. They want to wear you down, and they've got a heavy presence on each one of those lines. So getting pucks in, working it down low, grinding you down, and then getting pucks up high and spreading out the zone is something that Cassidy talks about a lot. Spreading out the zone and then getting it back down towards the net. So on the flip side, the Oilers are going to have to do a good job of boxing out, fronting, and taking care of their net, because that's where Vegas does a lot of their work. And as much as they're a little bit heavier and a bigger group of forwards, I wouldn't say they're slow. Maybe not quite as quick as some of those LA forwards who are quite quick. There's good speed on every line, but there's skill. There's really good skill in tight. There's some good shooters and some guys that do a really good job of tipping pucks, and they're really tenacious on any kind of loose change around that blue paint. So you'll have to kill plays quick. To answer your question, Schauger, sorry, I kind of went a little long-winded on that, but you got to kill plays quick. Kill plays quick down low so that it doesn't lead to extended ozone time, because that's what they do. They wear you down. Their whole thing is to use their depth to wear down the opposition and play a tight defensive style. They don't give up much. They love close games. They're very comfortable in close games. I think they had the most regulation wins in the league this year. They know how to close out games. Very different than we've seen LA, where they struggle a little bit to close games. This Vegas team knows how to close out those games. So it's going to be a little bit different animal that way. But you guys have talked about this, the 4 lines and a little bit of chemistry, and it's really trending the right way, and it puts them in position, to go head to head against the Vegas 4 lines, and it should be an unreal series.
So how will their forecheck style affect the Oilers D compared to what they had against the Kings?
Yeah, it's similar. They're going to be physical, like we just talked about. They're going to try to get a piece and wear down the Oilers D. They're a physical group. Any kind of D to Ds, there's a second forward coming ready to jump that D to D. They do a good job of keeping a good F3 high because they're very sound defensively. But one of the things is, and Struds, you alluded to it already, as big as these D are back there, they're all mobile. Even McNabb, he kind of looks big and a little bit slow, and he may be the one that maybe the slowest of the group, but he still moves really well for a big guy, and he's really smart with his stick. And so they're coming down the walls. Anything going up the walls, and the Oilers will rim pucks. We saw that in the last round, but they'll rim pucks out. Those big D will be coming down the walls with really good F3 support, and they're really good at countering any kind of turnovers. They're really good at countering and attacking. They generate a lot of their offense off turnovers off that forecheck or just outside the zone, and then they re-attack.
You see anything matchup wise that would have you hesitating with 97 and 29 together? We think Knobloch is probably going to do that, but what do you think that looks like for them against this team?
Well, I just think that you've got to kind of start there, because the team has really found its way, and it's the other group. The other group has created depth and been dangerous. So it's not about just stopping 97 and 29 anymore. It's about, some of the other guys being able to produce. So that's definitely the case there. Now, I know Cassidy talked a lot about Carlson, old Wild Bill, who's a great player, a two-way center. He is on a line with Eichel, and they can in a shift you can see, like, depending on who's back into the zone first, it could be one of them could be playing down low as a center. They flip all the time. It's kind of a neat option, but they talked about how Carlson is probably going to get that matchup. So maybe that means Eichel and Carlson in the first game they're head to head. And after that, I mean, there's Hurdle on a line. Waugh, who I think is very, very underrated. I thought Waugh 2 years ago was a little bit of he was a player that raised his level and added depth to that team and helped them kind of get over the hump in that last series. Mm-hmm. Really effective two-way guy who is trusted defensively, but also can produce offensively. So I would say to start, I think you're going to see a lot of Carlson, and then Pietrangelo, and he plays either with Hager or Hanifin, depending on what they're looking for. Or on the PK, he'll play with McNabb, but he's the number one like shutdown D. They rotate a few different guys, so you'll see a lot of Pietrangelo, who, it's funny, doesn't play as much in offensive situations anymore, at least didn't in the last round. He played a lot more in the defensive situations, heavy PK, but the likes of the Theodore plays a lot as the number one PP guy, and then it's Hanifin now a little bit. So Pietrangelo is taking those heavy defensive minutes, and I think 97 and 29 are going to see a lot of him and Haig to start, a little bit of Hanifin sprinkled in, and potentially maybe some McNabb too.
All right. Good stuff. That is a great breakdown and gives people a bit of a sense tactically of what this might look like. Yeah, it's going to be different than the LA series. I'm interested in Klingberg, how he handles some increased physicality. I'm interested, to see how that D handles being pushed the way that Vegas might potentially push them. So a lot of great things to keep an eye on. Marshy, great job, buddy. Yeah. Thanks so much for coming back and joining us.
Great to be on with you guys. We'll talk soon. Take care.
All right. Take care, pal.
See ya.
All right. That is Ryan Marsh with a great tactical breakdown of the Oilers and the Vegas Golden Knights. And that was our HSE Core Adjustment segment brought to you by HSE Core Services. He picks up on a lot of fine details. Hey, Struddy? Stuff I hadn't thought of.
No, so good. So good. There's, it's just the coaches see the game differently, right? They just see, they see things that the normal person doesn't see. And it's going to be, their D is the strength of that team. I truly feel that. And he used the word spine, and that means your four centermen and your D, and that is their strength. So the Oilers, though, their centers are fairly good as well. That's a pretty good spine. The Oilers D has evolved with Klingberg into a fairly good 6 as well. Now they don't have Ekholm, and that's a big problem. Let's make that clear. But what we saw last series, if they can continue on somewhere in that way, it could be two similar teams with their depth playing and goalie situation.
Be interesting to see what the big guys can do in this series too. The last time around, you recall, did Draisaitl have the 4-goal game? I think was it 4 goals and 2 goals in the first couple of games, and then went dry basically for the rest of the series. I think he had an assist through the rest of the series. It looks like what I grabbed today. It was -4 in game 6. In a couple of my notes in some critical moments, his name came up there on a couple of goals against. So, and he's just playing at such a high level. So it's going to be interesting to see, 97 and 29, what they can get done. McDavid was 5-5 for 10 points, 24 shots on net, just one even strength goal in the series. Draisaitl was 6-1 with 20 shots on goal. Okay, let's get to our Taking a Lap segment brought to you by AECOM. We'll see what else is going on around the National Hockey League. If you're a skilled tradesperson or a construction professional, if you need work, if you're looking for work, career change, whatever you're thinking, send them a resume. Trades@acon.com. Looking for skilled tradespeople and construction professionals to join the team and start building what matters today over at AECON, one of Canada's original industrial contractors. Okay, Struds. We're going to talk a little bit more about Nate McKinnon and the Colorado Avalanche, what they might be feeling and thinking right now. And I don't know, you probably saw it, but it was the poignant clip of the night from Nathan MacKinnon after their season was over. His buddy, his long-time line mate, his running mate, just a huge piece of the organization, traded out from underneath him, right? Shocked everybody. Traded way out east, though. Get him the heck out of the division, right? Mikko Rantanen resurfaces in Dallas and dismantles his old team. And afterwards, Nate MacKinnon had this to say.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, they were missing their best D and maybe their best forward, so we still couldn't beat them. So, yeah, I don't know what we're going to do.
I don't know what we're going to do, Struds. Like, that was poignant. You can only imagine what's going through his head, having watched all this play out.
You're sitting on your bench looking at your former stud line mate just dismantle your team in the last two games, and really the last two periods of the last two games. You go into your exit meetings and you're the captain, you're looking across at your GM, and they've won together. They've had success, that's for sure. But you're looking at them thinking, okay, where to now? Like, what are we doing? We just saw our guy do this to us, or our old guy. And Marty Nikesh was fine. Like, he's a good player. He's a really good player. There's no doubt about it. But Rishaug, that's a hard one to swallow, because the guy could have been on your team, and you're wondering, would he have been the difference if we had him? I love Mikko Rantanen. I've said it 1,000 times. I'll say it another. I love the way he plays. I love his big body. I love everything about the way he plays. But how can you let that guy go? So it'd be interesting. I'd love to be a fly on the wall between Nathan MacKinnon and his GM when they talk about why and how that trade came about.
Yeah, for sure. What else we got tonight, buddy?
Sidney Crosby is out of the playoffs, or didn't make the playoffs, but he's not done. For the third time in his NHL or in his career, he is going to go represent Canada at the World Championships. I'm blown away by this. I can't believe he's doing it. Not that I don't understand. I can't believe he's doing it. This guy has played so much hockey, represented Canada so many times, and yet he's going again to play and to help, and maybe help the next generation, like Macklin Celebrini and these guys. Like, it's incredible. I just can't believe he's going this time at his age. Why not rest? Take it off, not sit. He's going to get better. I'm sure that I can learn something here. I'm sure I can just hear him talking now, Shaggy.
I'll tell you why, I would assume. I mean, Sidney Crosby's not going to play a lot of meaningful NHL hockey over the next couple of years. And with where that organization is at and the direction that organization is heading in, he just led Canada to an amazing tournament at the Four Nations. They've got the Olympics coming up, and now this World Championship. Struds, this is going to be the funnest, most meaningful hockey that he will play for the rest of his career,
Good point.
I would suggest.
I like that. That's a really good insight. But he's also old. Like, let's just say what he is. He's old. And I think he also needs to recognize he needs some rest, right? Like, and take this time to rejuvenate and do the new treatments, whatever he does, like I 100% agree with you. I get it, but he is old, and rest isn't a bad thing.
Counterpoint, he's old, but for sure. And he was dealing with the injury this year too. Like, we know in and around the Four Nations, he was dealing with an injury there, which was kind of nuts. So, Nate MacKinnon sounds like he's going to go with him as well. Those two are tight. They're good buddies. And, keep building that chemistry for Team Canada. Looking forward to the Olympics next year. Man, I can't believe how close that is. That's going to be a ton of fun. Okay, Struds, only one game on the schedule. We can look ahead to a couple of these other series in our scoreboard tonight. Brought to you by Canadian Club, the all-new CC Classic 18-year-old high proof comes in at 58%, their highest proof Canadian Club Classic to date. It's a full-bodied whiskey with aromas of caramel, toffee, spicy vanilla, and rich oak with a butterscotch finish. So just thinking about this Winnipeg game tonight, like, lots of hockey fans in the family here in the house. I wouldn't say diehards, but people that enjoy hockey, mostly Oiler hockey. That Winnipeg game was on. And Randine came in, and Avery, my stepdaughter, was there. We had Ella on a FaceTime, my other stepdaughter. Both my boys were there. And everybody was huddled around in the living room watching the Winnipeg Jets and St. Louis Blues. That would be a first in my house for something like that. And people just losing their minds. The drama, like, first round playoff hockey is spectacular, and that was amazing tonight.
Oh, game sevens. Everyone loves game sevens, right? I watched last night. I watched tonight. They're amazing to see, and you see who rises up and who struggles. And then one game doesn't define a person, but it can sure elevate what they think of you. And now Adam Lowry will be a hero in Winnipeg for the next 1,000 years.
Yep, for sure. So that was that. Now we got the playoffs rolling, and we're not going to really get to much of a preview show. Like, this is the preview show, and the playoffs will be up and running. So we'll just get your take on some of these series. Panthers and Toronto Maple Leafs.
I believe that the Panthers are going to make the Leafs suffer. And I believe there'll be a suspension by somebody there. And I don't think, and that'll be by choice. That'll be a planned choice. And I don't think that the Leafs will have an answer. So I think this will be, I'll go Florida in 5, Florida in 6, something like that. The Leafs do not know what they're going to run into here in this physicality with this group. What do you think?
I'm going to say Leafs in 7, just because, this is so wrong of me. But again, I mean, let's say the Leafs make it all the way through, and so do the Oilers. I mean, you get on a flight to Toronto, and it's just a nice direct flight. Getting to Florida is an absolute nightmare. So now I'm starting to base my predictions around travel. Look, I think it's time for Toronto to do something. And I agree with you. It's going to be a war of attrition, but I think they'll figure it out after a few games. So I'm going to, mostly for selfish reasons, pick the Leafs in that one. Hurricanes and Washington Capitals set to go on Tuesday night.
This one's tough. This is the tough one. I'm not as clear on this one. I like the way the Canes play. I think that they're a hard team to play against. But I think there's something about Washington right now in the way that they're playing and their size. My God, they're so big. So I'm going to go Washington in this one. Again, I don't know, maybe 6, something like that. The Canes will make it hard, but can the Canes elevate again? That's always my fear. When they get in the playoffs, I think they work so hard and try so hard in the regular season. I don't think they can elevate another level where I think that these other teams do. That's why I look at Washington in this one.
Yeah, I agree with you. And Ovi's got something special going on. It's too early for that to end. So I will take them. So the action gets underway tomorrow night. Leafs will get going. Of course, the Oilers set to rock and roll on Tuesday night from Vegas. And it's a 6:30 Vegas start, which means a 7:30 game time here. Struds, you wanted to put something out there to the people. Our subscriptions have been slowly and steadily growing, and we really appreciate it. But YouTube is an area we want to keep building and keep growing. So we're right now at 6,300 subscribers. And you've got you want to get to 7 by the end of this season. So, picking up another 600-700 subscribers, and you were willing to put something on the line for that.
Well, I've talked about this before, but the inaugural year of the Edmonton Elks, when they changed the name, I built an elk rack and I wore it to a game. And I believe it's in the pictures of Struddy's where I've worn it to a game. And I wore it around and people were calling me Elk Man. It was actually fairly cool, if you want to know the truth. I haven't been back with them since. I found them the other day, and I'm happy to say if we get to 7,000 subscribers, I will wear the elk rack. Now, there has to be a certain amount of time. Oh, whole show. The problem is my neck might give out. It's heavy. Like this thing, we're probably talking 9-10 pounds. It's a monster. But I'll wear it. But I think we have to get it in pretty quick order. Like, what's a reasonable amount of time? Because obviously we're going to get there.
Well, by the end of the second round, I don't think we'll do it. I think we'll come up short. I mean, I don't know. Zuby, you would know better how our YouTube subscriptions. We've never even asked people to do it. So we're at that many, and we've never really even pushed it. I don't know.
Well, they're always steadily. You know what I've noticed lately is after an episode of Struddy's World, we get a big bump. We get about 15 to 20 new ones off of an episode of Struddy's World. We did. We got a good number off of last week's show. But I'll say this, and this is the part that I always think is kind of crazy. So I'll say this to our people who comment after the show on YouTube. I can see there's a little icon there if those people are subscribed or not. And 80% of the YouTube commenters are not subscribed. So it's a real easy. If we converted some of those fine folks who like to come in and obviously they're watching and it's names I recognize, they're watching every episode. hit that subscribe, boost us up a few. What I'm saying is we have viewership, obviously, that isn't subscribed. So get in there, viewers, help us out, and you're going to you'll get a treat of Struddy with the rack on his head.
Anybody not subscribed watching the show right now, subscribe for us over on YouTube, and we'll see how we do there. Struds, lots of people feeling like you're talking out of both sides of your mouth. On one hand, you talk about not being able to handle a rack of antlers on your head. 10 minutes ago, you're talking about your oak tree sized neck. So there's a little bit of like, which way is it? Do you have a strong oak tree sized neck, or are you pencil necked and aren't going to be able to handle that?
This rack is huge, guys. It's a big rack. Even the mighty oak would have a tough hole holding it up. I wore this for 4 quarters at an Elks game.
I was there. I was
It's
working
hard.
the sidelines, and I'm like, look at the donkey in the stands. What would the people behind him be thinking? That is so discourteous. I was like, look at this clown. And then I found it on Facebook. It was you. Like, I was shocked after. Did you not get complaints from behind you?
No, I found seats that weren't compromising others. But when I got there, I didn't think they were going to let me wear it in. And the guy, I think at the door, I think he kind of recognized me. Not that I'm Wayne Gretzky, but I think he was like, okay, I think this is okay. We'll let him in. He just kind of let me walk in, and I just kind of walked in without saying anything. And then I was with my son and my nephew, and they were howling. People were calling Elk Man, and they're getting pictures. Like, it was pretty funny, actually. And I should go back again. Maybe I'll go back in the fall because it's hot. You get a sweat on with this thing. It's a huge rack.
So Ken Cooper coming over the top on us says just what I love. More podcasters begging for subs. So I'm going to argue with you a little bit here, Ken. Like, we don't do this often on the show. I think it's okay to ask. I mean, I think we're asking politely. I don't think we're begging. We don't do this every show, Struddy. Like, I think we're okay.
I agree. Yeah, Coop, I get it, man. It's no problem. But I think it's
Coops.
Take a quick one. We talk about it every now and then.
Respectfully, that's the first time Ken Cooper has ever commented too. So how long has have you been lurking in the shadows, not subscribing and enjoying the show, and then getting mad when we ask?
Just comes over the top. Come on, Coop. We're not that bad. We're not that bad, Coopsy. All right, time for Ask Us Anything. We're over time here, so we're going to let her buck through this segment. Brought to you by Mortgages by Maria, the Bank of Canada. Continuing to lower those rates, and the spring real estate market getting hotter. So Maria Gallus with Maximal Mortgages offers access to several lenders and a wide range of rate options, far more than what your bank can provide. Settle for your bank. Don't settle for your bank's offer. Contact Maria today at mortgagesbymaria.ca. Okay, Zuby, let them fly, buddy.
Okay. On Stu, Paulie says, after this season, has it changed your overall opinion on Stu Skinner? How long until he got us to the final isn't enough to keep the faith? Now, there's still season left. Who knows how he could factor. But if Pickard sort of went the rest of the way and nothing changed, how's your opinion on Stu changed this season, Shogger?
Yeah, well, I would go into next season feeling like you need to make sure you've got a viable option to push him to be the starter on this club. I mean, I would say if the Oilers ride Pickard the rest of the way and it ends however it ends, that you're not going to see Skinner as the clear-cut number one guy heading into next season. I think that's really, in a lot of ways, that's what's on the line here, Struds, for Skinner. Not to be unfair or unreasonable, but that's what he's here to prove.
Chemistry matters in the room, and by all reports, including your own, Shogger, Calvin Pickard is loved in that dressing room. So let's say they have it. Whatever. They go to the final. They go another round or two on his back, and then they move him out and bring another guy in. Chemistry matters. I think that's not easy to do.
Yeah, for sure. That's the big pickle here, isn't it, Struds? That if you want to bring in someone to support Skinner as your starter, you push out a guy who is beloved.
And he seems very loved in that room. They've seen 2 other people move out of that room in Holloway, who seem to be quite an energetic guy, and McLeod. Again, Shogger, you've spoken about that before. So you got to be careful how much you erode the culture in a dressing room. I know people say culture is overrated. Yeah, it's overrated until you don't have it, and now you got a problem.
Okay. still on this topic, and then I'll put it to bed, that this rumor, based on the way the goalies lined up today, is persisting. Now, Riot's Edge said, well, just a simple statement, Oilers always lose the first game. Someone, Schauger, when you tweeted today, someone in your responses said, and I don't remember who, but credit to them for this because I thought it was an interesting point, that they felt like game one was the lowest risk game if you were going to start Stu Skinner. So let's just put it here. Give me a percentage chance that Stu Skinner starts game one, or is this complete smokescreen by Chris Knobloch?
I would say 20. And that might be a little bit high. I could see them doing it because there is a path of logic that at least exists. I don't think it makes sense, and I don't think it's the right thing to do. And I can't justify it from a hockey logic standpoint, but I know there is that train of thought sitting there. So 20, and that feels high to me. Struds?
0%. Pickard earned this start. The guys in the room are sitting around. They look around. They know who's played well. So that, for instance, that would be like taking out Trent Frederick and putting Skinner in like Skinner the skater in there, and not quite the same, but Frederick's playing well. He deserves to continue to play, as does Pickard. He's winning. So if you look around and say we're going to put someone else in, this guy just helped us get through that last round.
It should be really obvious. Maybe I'll refine my answer and I'll say below 10. How's that? That feels more realistic. 20. I came in a little hot with 20.
It's already in the promo. Rishaug says 20% chance.
20% chance. This tweet coupled with this comment.
Yeah. Okay. Unfortunate Son says Evander Kane is going to say hello to Peter Angelo, the wrist slasher. Bring the pain. How many... let's kind of put this way. Do you think this rears its ugly head? Do things get nasty? And when does it happen? And does it happen in a game that gets away on the scoreboards? There, Struddy.
Oh, I think it'll be physical. There's no doubt about it. The challenge is those deer are big. You're not knocking around, Samuel Girard from the Colorado Avalanche. Like, these are big guys. Like Nicholas Hague, do you think he's worried about getting hit? That guy is 6'5", 220 pounds. Yeah. So, but doesn't mean you still have to hit them. You have to, and more than that, even put pressure on them, make them make plays sooner than they're ready. So yeah, I think there'll be some ugliness at some point. These two teams both think they can win Stanley Cup, and they got to go through each other's city to get there. So yes, but I don't think they'll go back to an incident with Pietrangelo from that many years ago. They should have dealt with it already.
That's what I agree with. There have been tons of regular season games to settle that score if they felt it needed to be. So I don't think that rears its head at all. And I think the Oilers got into some discipline issues in the first round. I think that's a focus for them in this next round. So we'll see if they can't dial that in a little bit.
Okay, Struddy, you just mentioned their big defenseman. Ben Dofer says, what's the best way to wear down big, tall, strong D-men? What do the Oilers got to do to take that over?
Put pressure. So if, just simple things like don't let them stop you at the blue line, chip it behind them and make the D-men turn and go get it. Just over and over and over and over again. It doesn't mean I'm not advocating for dumping it in. What I'm talking about is if you are getting to the blue line and they're standing up on you, chip it behind and make their partner go get it, or you go get it. That is what they don't like. They're trying to stop it there so they don't have to go back and get that puck. So that is, make them turn, make them work every single shift, and then try to get some hits on them. But again, they're pretty big humans.
Yeah, I don't know that the key is going to be grinding this blue line down physically, like you're going to, overwhelm them physically. But I think you nailed it, Struds, making them turn and skate. Just keep making them turn and skate, turn and skate, turn and skate. Especially a couple of them that I know they're all decent skaters, but a couple of them are, a little bit bigger, so it's going to be difficult for them. And then finish the obvious checks that are there, like get in, and make them make mistakes just by being on them quick. So yeah, get them turning.
Okay, let's go. We're late here, but let's go 3 quick ones. We did have some good questions that I wanted to get to. Riot's Edge said, who's the biggest X factor for both sides? We kind of already talked about your Oilers X factor, so tell me who your Las Vegas X factor is, Schauger.
Oh, you want a Las Vegas X Factor?
Mm-hmm.
You know what? I'm going to go Howden. I mean, he was big in the first round. He came up in big moments, scored some big goals. Wouldn't be a first-line guy that you would think of. Energetic. I like him. I'll throw him in there.
Yeah, that was going to be mine as well. So I'll go with the obvious one, Jack Eichel. I think that Jack's going to want to prove that he can, again, play and skate with these elite 2 players.
Okay, here's one. This is close to my heart. JL says, would you change the puck over glass penalty, 1 freebie, and then you get a penalty? Would you change it, and if so, how? Shogger,
No.
I already see you saying no.
No. Why do you need to change it? You can't flip the puck over the glass in your own end as a way to relieve pressure. We want fewer whistles and more goals. Absolutely not. Now, they got to make sure. You got to be able to make sure. So I'm all in favor of taking a look to make sure. But nope, that's a penalty to me. It's a way of relieving pressure that delays the game. So I'm fine with it.
Ditto. There's nothing I can add to that. 100% agree. You can't change it.
All right, I hate it. I think it should be the same. I think it should be the same as an icing. And here's my problem. I'll try to be quick with it. They made the penalty because players were doing it intentionally. Well, the second they made the penalty, no one's doing it intentionally anymore. So you've already cured that. It's never happening intentionally anymore. It's happening accidentally now. No one does it on purpose. They know it's a penalty. So to me, it should be the same.
Mission accomplished.
Yeah, to me it should be the same as an icing. But they're not doing it intentionally. They got the intentional ones,
and got it out of the game.
And now they're penalizing
puck over glass out of the game. So why do you want to switch it back?
I don't. I want it to be the same as an icing. To me, that's this very simple solution. I would have been very disappointed if that game had ended tonight on that penalty. I'm glad that it didn't. I didn't care who won either way. Okay, last one. Gomez wants to know, just for Shogger, what's a day off in Vegas look like for Shogger?
Ho ho. Well, it depends on what the elliptical looks like at the hotel. So looking forward to that. Got to find out which hotel I'm in. I always go straight to the pictures of the gym to see what the elliptical looks like, Struds. You know where I'm coming from, right? The gym equipment at the hotel is critical. Hey, Struds?
Yeah, it is. And I I don't think there's any ellipticals in those nice gyms, those fancy gyms.
Honestly, it's not that exciting. I mean, maybe 10, 15 years ago would have been a little more interesting, but I don't love to gamble. Like, I'm not a guy that'll go sit at the tables and play a bunch. It's probably gonna be pretty hot. Honestly, it's gonna be pretty chill. I'm gonna watch. The off day I'll be watching the Leafs game, game 2 of the Leafs. So we'll do that in the evening. Maybe grab a nice dinner with Parker and some walking. Maybe just get some steps in, a little walking. So nothing too exciting. And we need to ask, a younger, more excitable reporter than me. I'm old and boring now on the road. That was, what's this? Hey, Shogger, get on the stair climber for 45 twice a week. Cut the Crosby quads. Or get the Crosby quads, maybe he meant. So he thinks stair climber rather than elliptical. That sounds hard on the back. That was Ask Us Anything, brought to you by Mortgages by Maria. Lots of good stuff in the show. Lots of good stuff going on. What is our play of the day? Let's check in. Brought to you by Gallery Dental, taking the first step towards a stress-free dental experience with modern dentistry for today's patient with the most up-to-date sedation, implants, and so much more. Contact GalleryDentalYEG.com. What do we got today, Struds?
You score a double overtime winner. It's Adam Lowry.
Yeah,
I mean, that's an absolute easy one at home. The whiteout, people going crazy. I love it.
Now, not that I want to argue a lot because we're late into the show here.
Oh, wait.
No, go ahead, Zuby. You can
if you're going to argue,
I think we can
we'll argue while we're wrapping up. I would think, Struds, that the tying goal with 1.6 seconds left might be, in terms of unique moments and special things, we see double overtime goals in the playoffs. We don't see stuff like that. I'm gonna contest your play of the day, and I'm gonna say it's the tying goal.
Yeah, I mean, in 5 years we'll ask who scored that tying goal, and we'll see how many people would get to answer that.
No, people will know. People will know. Zuby, what do you think?
I kind of think I don't want to. I reject your play of the day, Struddy. Shogger's rejecting your play of the day, but I I think he's right in this case, but I'm not rejecting it. But I think that's the bigger goal.
All righty.
I accidentally unplugged my headset there. What did he say? Me or did he pick me or you?
He said I was right.
Okay. All right. Once again, I get outvoted on the show. It's late. We're getting out of here. I'm heading to Vegas tomorrow, and we will chat after game 1. Look forward to it, guys.
See you, boys.
Yeah, right on.
Travel safe.
All right. Thanks to all of you for joining us here on Got Your Back, presented by Play Alberta. We'll chat in a few days. Cheers.